Sori.
That's Booby.
And Jumpy and Ghosty and Chip.
Shout out to the big homie Ben. It's good to hook up with you, my guy. Inshallah, we'll be able to.
These?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll explain it to you later. He was on some group, and they're like, "Oh, you should check this out. This guy, da 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 da." He's like, "Hey, I know."
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to you.
We were watching out for the Caucasus because we were wanting to see if the big homie Ben. Not Ben. What am I talking about? If Bernie was
gonna get sabotaged again this time.
Well, he didn't get sabotaged in the Caucasus that we know of. Although right now there's something going on with the count. They had to recount and all this stuff. So I don't know. Speaking of politicians, this is a song called "Psycho Killer" from the band Talking Heads. This is the 899 crew, right?
Yeah. Anarchy
from
99.
The Anarchy 99 group, which is one of the alliances. The alliance system's really awesome. It is my favorite way of getting a song reviewed. You sign up for $1 at the gate at Patreon. Eventually, Zonia is going to shoot the Patreon explanation video at some point.
Yeah, we probably just keep giving her other things to do. Busy.
Yeah. And so, So, anyway, so you get in there. A99 is one of the flagship groups that started. It's really cool.
Shirts and everything.
You got shirts. You got a Discord community. I mean, it's just really... It's really, really cool.
I think it's a great place to be, too, if you're...
The person who came up with the alliance idea was a genius, I think.
Very sexy man. Oh, you. Yeah, the other thing that's cool about alliances is if you're, like, socially awkward and you're not, like, a face-to-face contact person, but you kind of like being online, Discord is a great way to meet other people and find friends and stuff without... like being out in public. Obviously, I think it's good to be out in public and to meet people that way. But if you're at that stage in your life where you're like, I'm not doing any of that, this would be a great place to meet other people as well. And it's $1. You jump on Patreon for $1 and you can get it to the Alliance. So we are doing Talking Heads Psycho Killer.
Also, we are going to be reviewing an up-and-coming band that you're gonna want to follow. The name of the band is Torn Asunder, and they're from Kansas City. So Kansas City just won. Shout out to them. A little help from the refs, but anyway, Torn Asunder is on the way, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to tell you what day we're going to release it, but the Torn Asunder review is on the way. Okay, Talking Heads, Psycho Killer. Let's go
and go. Oh, we also have an interview that's going to be getting released soon, so keep your eye out for that.
Yeah.
All right, go.
Baseline.
To the facts, I'm tense and nervous and I can't relax. Can't sleep cause my bed's on fire. Don't touch me, I'm a real live wire. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Better run, 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 run away. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Better run, run,
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Run, 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 run away.
Psycho killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est? I used to work with this girl. We had a, I don't know if it's love-hate. I think it was like-hate. We had a like-hate relationship. And, I mean, we were basically set up on the opposite sides of each other, but when we were getting along, it was okay. And she used this phrase all the time, qu'est-ce que c'est?
What is
I don't know. I used to ask her, like, Dina, what does that mean? And she'd say, it means, like, what are you saying, or something like that. I don't know. So,
okay.
maybe qu'est-ce que c'est means psycho killer,
What are you saying?
Yeah, far better. I don't know. But this song, I feel like, should have been on the soundtrack to the latest Joker movie.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, this would have been perfect. It had the cadence and the kind of the pace
You're right.
of what you'd see, and even the, you know, he's going back and forth between English and French. I don't really know what the point of that was, you know, other than maybe you just wanted to say something in French. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe, you know,
I don't know.
you go to a different language because none of us really understands the mind of a psycho killer, so maybe that's that's the way they're trying to explain that. But it's interesting to me because this song came out in '77.
Yep.
And so, according to this, it was like one of their biggest songs, possibly the most well-known Talking Head song. But it's like, wait a second, like, he's talking about being a psycho killer and all this stuff. Like, this wasn't cool during the 70s. Like, now, sure, you know what I mean? But there weren't a lot of songs like I don't want to say celebrating, but like, you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but
to talk about like a psycho killer and have that be the title and have it be in the chorus. Like,
well, yeah, that must have been pretty risky to do something like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a kind of a raunchy, not raunchy in the sexual sense, but it's a pretty crazy, it's a pretty groundbreaking thing to do in the 70s,
I would agree.
I would say. Like, it's late 70s, you're going into the 80s, but still, so I thought that was risky of them to do.
In verse 1, is he the psycho killer? And he's saying, I can't seem to face up to the facts. I'm tense and nervous. I can't relax. I can't sleep because my bed's on fire. Don't touch me. I'm a real live wire. Like that feeling of like being over, like, you know, kind of crazy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about. Like, he's talking from the perspective of the psycho killer. Mm-hmm. And I wonder what that... I was watching this documentary, and this guy, he was like a mob hitman, but basically he then became a serial killer, which is kind of hard to tell the difference between the... I think the difference between the two is like a mob hitman, like he's doing it for a certain reason.
Yep.
And so people are less... It's weird, like people are less upset or fearful of the mob hitman than the serial killer, because the mob hitman, it's kind of like... Well,
a job.
Don't deal with the mob, and the guy won't be going after you. Like, he'll have a sandwich with you, all the rest of it. Whereas a serial killer, like, it's there's no reason, there's no rhyme about it.
Yeah.
You could be, you
Right,
know, it's just
right.
you've got black hair
So
and
that's
you're,
it.
and you know, that's
someone
it.
after you.
Right. So I think like that's the difference between, I think both of them are psychopaths, you know, or sociopaths, people who don't do very well with guilt and things of that nature. And
Who don't?
yeah, they're not able to process guilt very well. Psychopaths and sociopaths.
Oh.
They don't feel guilty for the stuff that they do. Like, so that's like one of the main kind of indicators that you're dealing with a psychopath or a sociopath. I think there's like some paranoia that's added to the psychopath thing.
Yo, yeah. I mean, are you saying that the guy that's a hitman for the mob is like...
He's obviously sociopathic or psychopathic. I mean, you're killing, destroying whole families for money, so you know, obviously you're some level of sociopath or psychopath. You know what I mean? Like, or do you not agree?
Well, I guess when I think about a hitman, I think he's doing it as his job. So, you know, he's gotten himself into that situation. And I obviously don't know what it's like to be in the mob or to be connected with the mob, but I'm just going from what I've seen on movies and stuff. So, like, sometimes people are kind of like in that situation, and then that's the job that they're given, and then they have to do what they have to do, or else they're going to get killed. So, I don't know necessarily that it's the person doesn't feel anything, but the person is, you know...
Well, no, it's not like they go eeny, meeny, miny, mo, okay, you're going to be the hitman.
Like they come into it saying, I'll be the hitman?
Yeah, it's usually somebody knows somebody who's not afraid to kill people. And they're doing it
then that's different then.
Right, they're doing it for a price. It's not like somebody just randomly, you know what I mean? Because people who kill and kill consistently are extremely rare. The same
people
thing
that
with a
do
gang.
what? That kill consistently?
Yeah, even in a gang, like, even gangs have killers. Like, not everybody in the gang is a killer.
Well, yeah, but like in a gang, they might say, you're gonna go do X, Y, or Z thing.
That's usually not how it works in a gang.
Okay, well, I guess.
Usually what happens...
I don't know anything about gangs either.
And you're blessed. Like, so, like, for example, the guy, Orlando Anderson, the guy that killed Tupac.
Yeah.
Like, that guy was a known hitter. Or a hitter is a killer. Somebody who will shoot you in broad daylight. Like, not everybody in a gang is like that. Like, I was close friends with Crips and Bloods when I was in school. And there was a scale. So I remember one time... there were these two Bloods it was two of them, and they were walking through Section 5 and then our school, and our school was like mostly Crips, and then Section 5 wasn't Blood or Crip, but they were like their own thing because that was their territory in Co-op City. So you had these two Bloods, so they were the minority, and then I remember I was sitting there watching this whole thing happen because I'm watching these guys, and they're walking through, and they're like flagged up, everything. And the Crips were leaning over the building, like, watching them. And, like, they didn't walk out until the Bloods left. So, not everybody in the gang is a hitter. Not everybody's like that. They're not everybody's like that, especially in gangs. Like, most of those dudes join gangs because they're scared to death. They're scared. They don't want, you know, they don't feel they can handle themselves on their own, so they need backup, yada, yada, yada. But these two guys... I didn't really know those dudes, those two Bloods. But the fact that they were walking through our school like that, already people were making assumptions about them. Like, yo, there's only two of you. You guys are too deep, and you're walking through. Everybody knows there's Crips around here. Like, and I remember, and like one of the real tough guys, and my friend was like, yo, look at it. And I said, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Because so like yeah, it's very rare. Like the act of killing is a real. It changes you. So what I'm saying is like no, even in gangs or mafia or whatever, like there's still the people that are willing to do that are still the minority. That's what I'm saying. Like you've got to be a real sociopath or psychopath to be named that type of thing in that. Like,
yeah.
And then, you know, you look at Orlando Anderson and then he goes out and he kills Tupac for jumping him. Like, here's this great guy made out of the hood, multimillionaire, was the voice of a whole bunch of people, and because he jumped you you know, you guys had a scuffle, and you know it wasn't like he was seriously injured, but the fact that he jumped you, you're gonna go and now kill this guy who meant so much to so many people, and he just went along with his day like nothing happened. I remember like watching his interview. The cops were interviewing, of course it was videotaped, and he was smiling the whole time. He's like, "Nah, I didn't shoot anybody." Da, da, da. And like he was the one that did it. He was the chicken man. Like,
Wow.
yeah, so I don't know, like people like who do that, man, like. It's weird, and then when you think about military, like you got all these people with like PTSD. Like I just got done reading, like the guy that hit was on the Bin Laden hit, one of the guys that dead checked Bin Laden 50 times. He was talking about this one particular incident. I'm not going to get into it because it's mega graphic, but you could tell he was affected by it, and he was hurt by it. He was hurt by what they had to do.
Yeah. And
he was talking about how the Navy, and he basically ended the book that way. That was like basically in the last chapter, and he basically said it was, you know, they never talked about it, and there was a kid involved. The kid lived, but basically they killed this dude's dad right in front of him, and he didn't know that there was a kid in the house.
Oh.
So the kid saw everything. And you could tell. So, but then but there's other guys that I've known where, as far as I could tell, they legitimately do not care. They don't care.
Yeah.
You know, they'd have been like, kid should have been there. Or you shouldn't have been a bad guy. You knew you had a kid, you shouldn't have been a bad guy. And like, they're not, like, you know when somebody's saying it because they're trying to like absolve themselves, and then other people are saying it like,
they really don't care.
No, you shouldn't have been at the border, man. Like, hey, whatever. Like, so it's kind of like that type of mentality. And I wondered to myself, and like, it's weird because in that context, the PTSD is like that's something you want to avoid. This guy clearly has PTSD. You can't sleep. You can't, you know, da 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 da. The guy that was on Bin Laden hit, he did 14 deployments. I mean, but it was kind of a weird situation because when I look at the other guys and it's like that's what you want to attain to, like you want to be able to like be back to being adjusted and reconcile yourself to yourself, and then I'm like listening to this song and saying, wait a second here. Maybe the guy that's got PTSD is a normal person, right? And the other guy is a sociopath. I'm hesitating to say that because warfare is a completely different beast. Although some people might say, "What's the difference between that and a hired gun and all that?" And that goes to a better whatever. But anyway, this guy is a psycho killer.
Well, that's complicated.
And he knows he's a psycho killer, I think. But maybe he's confused with him because he says, far, far better run away. Maybe he's saying it'd be better to run away from me than to actually... Yeah. You know what I mean? So maybe he's talking about maybe it's a relationship song.
I didn't get that it was a relationship
song. That second verse...
The one that wasn't in here.
Yeah, it wasn't in here. I don't really know what he says, but here's what it says in the official lyrics that we saw. And it was on yours, too. Yeah. You start a conversation, you can't even finish it. You're talking a lot, but you're not saying anything. When I have nothing to say, my lips are sealed. Say something once, why say it again? Like, I had a friend that was like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I don't understand, like, that doesn't make the guy a psycho killer. Because he, you know... That's just but maybe like these lyrics aren't necessarily supposed to make a lot of sense because the guy's a psycho killer, you know what I'm saying? We are vain and we are blind. I hate people when they're not polite.
I laughed at that part because...
Why?
I can be like that. It makes me really angry when people are not polite. Like, don't run into me in the store and not say anything.
Yeah, but you hate them? You hate them?
No, but I can feel some very strong feelings. You come into my house and you put your shoes on my furniture, or you know what I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't say hate, but I seriously dislike it when somebody is impolite. And it's weird because I'm kind of a mix of like, my dad and you. Like, my dad is like, don't put your feet on my furniture, period. Even if you take your shoes off. Don't get that comfortable in my house. Yeah. Don't go in the fridge. Don't go in the cupboards. You don't do any of those things at Sori's dad's house. And you're like, just leave me a Red Bull for the morning. If you can. If not, I'll just get another one. You're like very, very easygoing. And I can be kind of like, yeah, like I want people to feel comfortable. Before you and I got together, people would come over, I'd be like, yeah, just go right in the fridge, go in the cupboards.
Yeah.
And then people took it friggin' way too far.
Yeah.
They took it way too far.
They did.
I was being
Too far.
literally eaten out of house and home, and I had a kid, and I had to pack a meal for my husband, and it was like, this is not working. And I think that honestly, that level and that amount, I think it kind of did me in a little bit for that level of generosity to kind of like, you just feel like, well, we're gonna have some. I think that I was hoping that people were going to be a bit reasonable. You know, let's say you come and for 5 times when you come over my house, you eat a full meal. Well, you know, sometime when you show up, bring a batch of bananas or...
That time I bought Chinese for everybody.
Yeah.
I spent like $250 on Chinese for the whole crew.
Yeah.
And then by the time I was done teaching or whatever, there was no Chinese left. Homeboy had taken his like 5th round of...
Yeah. It's just, I just...
You went off on those people.
I did. It's like, oh my gosh, but I forgot I did.
Yeah. I feel that was when Homeboy, that was when he really turned against you, man. There's a couple moments. Like, don't separate that guy from his wings. But I just feel like... I just feel like... I was watching this I think it was called Psycho. It was with the dude from Batman.
Yeah.
The Batman that was opposite Heath Ledger, that guy. And he was American Psycho, was it? It was the name of the thing.
Did I see it?
No. Oh. This is like back in this like 98, 99. Okay. And it was funny because I think he was like overlooking Central Park. Okay. And he's like, Tom has a apartment overlooking the park, Central Park, but he didn't have it, and then he was like, basically, Tom doesn't deserve that, so now I'm gonna have to go kill him, something like that.
Oh my god!
Yeah, okay. and I was just like, and I would know people who, like, I'm not a psychologist, so I can't diagnose anybody, but I would know people who would be like, find some problem with somebody and then ratchet it up, exaggerate the degree of the problem or the importance of the problem so that they could hate the person.
Oh.
And I just wonder, I hate people when they're not polite, you know, which is something that's...
Yeah.
What does it mean to be polite? All of us have done it, you know, yada, yada. But I feel like maybe if you're a psychopath, like you can't just randomly kill people. Like you've got to find some way to reconcile to yourself that you took this life. So in this particular song, it's like, man, you're just not polite, bruh. So now I'm going to have to kill you. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's almost kind of like they have to do that to justify themselves, I think. But you know what's crazy is that chorus is mega catchy to me. Psycho killer. Let's go say.
Okay, I did not know if this was like a very, very old song or like a new one that they were making to sound old.
Right.
And I actually was going for it's a new one that they're making sound old. And then I was very surprised to see that it was actually made back in the 70s.
Yeah, and you know, I feel terrible liking the song as much as I do, but I really like the song. That chorus is like mega catchy.
Yeah, I was...
Psycho killer.
It was weird to me, like I couldn't decide, like, I think I like it, but then I'm like, I think I don't like it. It's very repetitive, but then I was like, I think I do like it. It's one of those flip-floppy ones for me.
No rhyme or reason to any of this stuff. What do you give the song?
I guess a 9. I'm gonna go with a 9. Yeah, 9.
Okay. That's 9.2 for me. I like the song.
Shout out to Anarchy 99.
Shout out to Anarchy 99. Zonia, Kyrie, all that jazz. Inshallah, we get to an actual Bible boogie this week. But it was fun. It was the exclusionary, what do you call it?
Oh my gosh.
Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.